So if I would have earned this same commission broken down into an hourly wage, I would have had to work another 40 hours a week at about $9.60 an hour in 2023 going into 2024. And I would have had to work 40 hours a week at about almost $8 an hour or $7 and some change in 2024 going into 2025 to make the same in commission and an hourly wage. The reason I break that down that way is because essentially I was able to use skills, mindset, knowledge, etc. to compensate for an additional income stream without having to work an additional 40 hours a week at almost $10 an hour or almost $8 an hour the last 2 years. So I just want to go over my commission that I earned in my existing corporate role in retail banking for 2023 going into 2024 and 2024 going into 2025, which just passed. So first thing I want to say is I'm grateful that I bet on myself and put myself in this position in the first place. It is a very, very, promising and humbling experience to have some control over your income. It's not complete control. I do make a salary and I do have annualized benefit values that are pretty significant, but a significant portion of my income is led by my ability to add value and close deals. And I'm grateful to be in a position to where I'm able to do that at a pretty reasonable scale. So I'm gonna go over my commissions the last 2 years, and then I'm gonna go over, kind of where that falls based on my company's expectations and standards, why I, didn't make more, and what promise is there going into the full year of 2025, and how I plan to essentially double that commission. So we'll go over all of that in this video. In 2023, I made just over $20,000 in commission, separate from my salary, separate from my annualized benefits. So I'm also going to go over how I get paid, like in what capacities I get paid. And then in 2024, I made just over $16,000 in total commissions, separate from annualized benefits, separate from salary. So again, if you do the math on that, it breaks out to about $9.60 an hour in 2023 if it was an hourly wage at full time. And it breaks out to, I believe, just short of $8 an hour for last year if I had to do the same thing in an hourly wage in 2024. So I get paid on a lot of different components, but the highlight larger items I get paid for are going to be balances in savings accounts, CDs, meaning that if a client opens and deposits brand new money beyond a certain threshold in a savings account or a CD, I'm getting paid for that. I get paid for balances in business checking accounts, business savings accounts, business CDs, because I'm a small business banker as well. I am licensed in investments with FINRA. I get paid for licensed investments. That's everything from clients that I help start online accounts or work with an advisor by phone or virtually. And the next tier level up is going to be working one-to-one with an actual advisor that I'm partnered with in my branch. I get paid on each one of those tier levels for investments. I get paid for mortgages, whether that's a brand new purchase mortgage or refinances. I do have a state originator's license, but I'm really under my federal charter at the financial institution I work for. And then beyond that point, I get paid for consumer credit cards and business credit cards, and a slew of other smaller items, like what's considered, convenience products essentially for the client. So various online features on the consumer and business side, things of that nature. So that all having been said, I'm getting paid for a plethora of different things as I'm working with my clients and they're helping to advance their finances. Hence why you get the content on this channel that you get. I have many other interests and hobbies. I have other things I'm deeply passionate about, but I decided to start this journey on YouTube around my primary skill set, which is basically helping you to advance small business or consumer finances. So basically, when you look at the landscape in 2023 and 2024, the banking and financial sector was compressed because in both years, interest rates were high and 20 plus year high in both years. Essentially in 2022, the Federal Reserve started raising rates, and my industry is very interest rate sensitive. People are going to spend less money. People are going to borrow less. and people are going to invest less typically when rates are up. All of that affects my commissions, that all affects the business I'm able to do. And I was able to make $20,000 in 2023, a little over, and a little over $16,000 in 2024 with the highest interest rates in over 20 years. But we felt the effects of that. I'm in Southeast Louisiana, the New Orleans metro market. So we were particularly hit hard by higher interest rates in real estate and the overall economics in my city. Very, very interest rate sensitive. Where literally, you can Google it, our market was like top 5 for declines in real estate or impact in real estate from increased interest rates. And that trickled out throughout the economy. Small business lending has tightened up simultaneously as well, which is also another area I get paid. If I didn't mention, I get paid for business lending. I do take and help clients submit business lending application requests. So all of that was compressed in those 2 years. And I also experienced a decline from 2020 in 2024 from 2023. That was largely due to the fact that I think the impact of interest rates, the tightening of that cycle, came in further in 2024. It was fresher in 2023. There's almost a 12 to 14 month lag effect in interest rates that the economic system acknowledges. So I think that was the biggest overarching thing that affected my ability to make, what I made in commissions. That having been said, I did reasonably well, obviously. My company expects about a little over $1,000 or $1,200 a month in incentives to be on par, like doing about what's expected. So you're not below expectations, you're not above expectations. Around $1,200 or 1,200, credits is considered on par. So for me, that essentially means that I was a bit above average in both years, because that would have been a little, let's just say around $14,000 in incentives, give or take, to be at average. I did 20 and 16, so a little bit above or slightly above what's considered average. For me, that was, a gift, a bit of a blessing, but at the same time, I have much higher expectations for myself and what I'm capable of. So I know that there were several factors that impacted that commission earnings in both years, but I ultimately have to focus on my actions and my behaviors in determining my success. So going into 2025, I have a lot more optimism. For one, economically speaking, things are changing. There's more optimism than there's been in the last 2 years in the marketplace and the economic system. A little bit more clarity, but though there's a lot of, there's a lot in the air going into 2025, but there's a little bit more clarity now that the election's over. Interest rates are set to come down. At what speed they're going to come down, who knows? But at the end of the day, I think there's enough optimism to get the real estate market moving more in my market, business lending opening up a little bit more, and getting people to feel more comfortable investing, because the stock market is more optimistic. And depending on the presidential policies that go into place and the administration that's coming in at the time of this recordings, policies go into place, we'll see if that has a positive impact on the market, if that has a positive impact on the real estate market. All these things are really impactful for my ability to earn commissions. So on the overarching thing, I'm expecting things to look up, even though there's a lot of uncertainty in the air in 2025. I do expect I feel and experience, and I'm observing more optimism overall. For my personal action plan, for me, I have to be more intentional. I did great at that in 2024 with a lot of, extra gumption and work around networking and getting outside of just work, working on the clientele coming into me and going out and building relationships and developing referral bases. I have to double down on those efforts. And I also have to, focus more on my one-to-one client interactions and trying to find any opportunity I can. I'm one of those big picture people. So for me, the things that are usually most challenging for bankers in my role is going to be like, investments and mortgages and taking loan applications. It takes a lot of skill, knowledge, and broader understanding to excel in those arenas. You of course could have really good people skills and do it and not be that bright on the products and the industry, etc., and the economics. But at the end of the day, Beyond people skills, if you really want to excel at this consistently, you have to have some kind of knowledge base. In my case, I'm gifted. I have both good people skills, great relationship building skills, rapport building skills, but I am an absolute nerd with economics. I'm a nerd with the lending industry, the investments, all of these different financial products and services. I am a complete nerd on. So I have a big picture complex. It's hard for me to focus on the little things in themselves when I'm sitting with clients. Like, I really want to just take your whole financial portfolio and advance it forward. I'm not dealing with whether or not you're activating different services on your app and all of the, all this other stuff. Yes, all of that matters. It's small components that add up to those bigger things. I value them, but they're not where my mind is when I'm working with my clients. Like, I'm looking at the big, like credit cards, credit building. Like, I'm looking at those bigger overarching things. So being more intentional in every single dimension of the interaction is going to move the needle forward. And also, I have to see more people. I'm one of those people that I like value over volume, meaning that I would rather sit with one client for 2 to 3 hours and help them accomplish a bunch of stuff than to see 5 clients in an hour to just try to get through. I have to balance that out more based on the way my existing role is set up. I have to see more people and still give great value and try to get everything going per client. So my expectations for 2025 in entirety, if I did 20,000, a little over 20,000 in 2023, if I did over 16 in 2024, based on all of the moving parts and my overall expectation of what I know I'm capable of, I'm really expecting to do somewhere in the proximity of around $40,000 this year in incentive as a baseline. Obviously, I'm really striving to do more than that because I know I'm capable of it. I have all the skill sets to go through that, but there are a lot of moving parts to the clientele I see. I'm very dependent on my team. I'm very dependent on what clients come in, etc. There's a lot of moving parts that aren't just wrapped around my capability. So I have to account for that. As much as I want to shoot for the stars, I do have to be realistic in the different moving parts that are outside of my control. So I'm expecting, based on the way my incentive structure works, which you start to get paid 110, 120, 130, 140, 150% of your incentive credits. So basically, if I have 1,000, I'm going to get somewhere around 80, 90 to 100% of that. But if I have 2,000 credits, then I'm going to start to get around 130, 140, 150% of that. So with that being the case, I am expecting the ability to be able to get to that about 40 grand range in incentive, which is going to be very impactful for my financial plan overall for myself, and increasing my net worth, expanding my assets. So that's going to play a huge role in that. So that's the goal right now. That's the game plan. I'm going to be putting these videos out weekly or maybe even multiple times a week as I make incentives throughout the week and recap it through the week. I may even start a live stream around it, to be honest, because there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of educational components as I'm helping my clients. Like, I can bring that same knowledge base and experiences and live interactions here to the channel. Lots to learn from. A lot of my content is from live interaction with my clients. That's what makes my channel special. So I'm an actual financial professional bringing this content in. I'm not just somebody who ran across new information or trying some new tactic financially or whatever the case. Like, a lot of, no disrespect, but a lot of financial YouTubers are just winging it, or they stumbled across something and they're expanding on it, etc., etc. I'm literally live in the field and bringing that insight and bringing that knowledge from the industry to Main Street. So I might be doing a live stream once a week. At minimum, I'm going to be putting up at least one video a week, going over my incentives for the week and what I've accomplished, all the calls that I've made, etc. So I'm dropping this, early January, of 2025. I'll be putting this out on a more frequent basis and keeping y'all posted, letting y'all know how I'm doing and keeping myself accountable. So comment down below. Let me know if you're in an incentive-based role. Let me know, what type of work you're doing, how you're advancing yourself. Keep us posted on this so we can all be accountable and we can all keep growing together. Other than that, to all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. As always, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.